Am I the asshole for telling my husband that I was disappointed in the gift he had for my son's 16th birthday? Background. I have been married to my husband, Jack, for 3 years. I have a 16-year-old son from my previous marriage and Jack has a 18-year-old son from his previous marriage as well. My stepson and my son aren't close and they only see each while they visit. But everyone is happy with these arrangements and there are rarely any issues. My stepson's 18th birthday was a couple of months ago. I wasn't at the party since his mom hosted, but Jack told me he bought him a car because he's been needing it since he has a disability and will be going BTO college. I saw the pictures, the car looked nice. Now my son's 16th birthday took place this past week. My son and I were both excited for the gift Jack said he'd bring and I hinted to my son that it would most likely be a car, just like the one his stepbrother got recently. It turned out we were wrong because at the party, Jack's gift for my son was actually a gaming console. My son got so upset that he went to his room and shut the door mid-party. Everyone noticed something was wrong and left shortly. Jack looked confused this entire time and asked what the deal was. I asked if he really didn't know and he just stared. I told him that my son was expecting something like a car as a gift. Jack asked why and I told him because my stepson got one for his 18th birthday recently. I bluntly told him that my son was rightfully disappointed and so was I in this gift and really thought it was unfair, especially since my son told his friends he was getting a car from his stepdad. Jack argued about the difference in circumstances, saying his son needs the car to drive to college while my son doesn't need it and besides, he doesn't have a disability like his stepbrother and can walk or commute. Also said I shouldn't have assumed it'd be a car and I messed up by hinting this to my son. I couldn't help notice the difference in treatment. I let him know that no matter how he tries to explain his reasons, my son will always feel like he's less than his stepbrother in a way and what happened now will make it worse, even between the stepbrother, not just him and my son. Jack called me unbelievable and that I should feel ashamed, then rushed out. He's expecting me to get involved and ease things between him and my son, but I decided to give my son time to process this. Am I the asshole for what I said? You are the asshole. Why don't you and the child's father buy a car for your son? Your husband is not obligated to buy his stepson a vehicle. Your stepson did not get a car at 16. He got one at 18. To expect your son's stepfather to buy a car for him when the kid is 2 years younger would make you an asshole too. I feel sorry for your husband. He married someone who only wants him for his money. Of course you are the asshole. Jack bought his son a car. And then you expected him to buy your son a car. Without ever talking to him about it. And just telling your son that he would. Your son is your responsibility. And 18 is different than 16. College is different than high school. He didn't even get his own son a car at 16. Yes, you are the asshole. How are you this oblivious? You should never have got your son's hopes up. How presumptuous of you. The circumstances are completely different, despite you refusing to see them so. 1. There is the age difference and his son is going to college and will need transport. 2. As the step-parent, it is not your husband's obligation to buy your son a car. That falls on you and the father. Your son is rightfully disappointed. Not because of your husband, but because of you. You are the asshole. Completely. First off, it was your son's 16th birthday, not 18th. And secondly, he is his stepson, not son. You are the asshole. Why aren't you and your husband discussing presents before they're purchased? You are the asshole, and your son is ungrateful. 16 is not 18. College is not high school. Your husband is not your son's father. Maybe son should donate the game console to a family whose kid would appreciate it. His behavior is completely unacceptable, as is yours. You are the asshole. You shouldn't have got your son's hopes up like that. You shouldn't have assumed that it would be a car. Just because he got his son a car doesn't mean he cares any less for your son. His son actively needed a car and you making it all about how your son doesn't feel equal, or your son is disappointed and that your husband should have known it was about a car. Nah, you are the asshole big time. You are the asshole. 16 and 18 are different ages. Why set up your son for disappointment? What a stupid thing to do. Why didn't you ask Jack what he was getting? For all you know, Jack might have bought your son a car for his 18th birthday. You're wholly in the wrong here and owe Jack and your son an apology. Maybe in the shape of a car. Am I the asshole for taking the money I had for my sister's party so I can replace the iPad she stole? Update. My brother just left. Apparently my sister has been stealing from him too when she goes to his place. She admitted to just keep the things to herself and that sometimes she can't help it. She acts before she can think much about it. She admitted that she took my iPad but claimed that her intention wasn't hurting me. That's why she left the case. She was planning on taking it to school, brag about it and then return it since it was way too expensive and for once, didn't want to take the risk. But apparently she did lost it or someone took it from her bag because she swears she didn't sold it or anything. I mean after this is just pointless to keep lying. She went to her room and came back with a bunch of things, some mine, some my brother's and some that belonged to our cousins and her friends. She even had one of Caleb's rings. We don't know how she did all of this and she refuses to give that information. She also refuses to tell me how she broke into my safe. My parents are outside talking alone and my dad let Caleb spend the night here with me. My 17F sister, 15F, has the habit of taking things from my bedroom and keep them or lose them. My father has talked to her, ground her, make her pay them back but she just doesn't listen. My mom always takes her side and makes excuses for her. Dad had enough so he bow me in small safe, against my mom's wishes. And I keep some jewelry, makeup, my diary and gifts from my boyfriend, 19M, Caleb. Cal comes from a upper-class family and he's always buying me stuff. Most of it gets stolen by my sister but the most precious gift I have for him is an iPad Pro he gave me for my 17th birthday on February 14. I love to draw, is my hobby, my form of expression and how I relax. I used to do it in my laptop, but since Cal gave me the iPad now I can do it in my free time during classes, in the train, the garden. I have more options now. Cal also made a custom case that he paint with a lot of things for me. When I'm out of home I leave it in my safe because it's one of the only things I didn't want to lose. And to be honest I don't want my sister putting her hands on it. I spent 2 days at my brother's 21M apartment planning my lil sister's birthday party. When I came back I went to take the iPad to sketch some ideas but I only found the case. I thought I had leave it somewhere else but I was sure I didn't. I also never took the case because it's my favorite thing. I looked around my whole room, my dad's office and the garden, since I'm usually there all the time. I also called Cal and asked if I left it in his house but he said no. When my family came back I was awfully crying in the kitchen. My dad asked what happened and I told her that I couldn't find my iPad. My mom said very lazily, "Your sister lost it in the train yesterday." I asked what and she said, "Your sister took it to school and lost it. Accidents happen, let it go." I was actually livid. I said that my sister opened my safe, dunno how, and stole my tablet. My mom told me to shut up and to never call my sister a theft again. My dad got involved and after much fighting he said that my sister had to pay me back. My sister just said that she didn't had money and attempted to go to her room so I told her that I'll take the money for her party and just keep it for my iPad. She came right at me and told me that I couldn't do it. My mom sided with her and demanded the money but I said, "No, she owes me. I get to keep it," and ran to my room. My father said that I could do it and buy another one. My brother transferred the money a few hours ago and is sitting in Cal's account. Because I don't have one yet. My sister has been crying because she just lost her sweet 16 party and says a tablet is worth much less than that. ETA. My brother is coming home in around 20 minutes to talk to my parents. I don't know why but it might be about my sister. Cal is also on his way here to install the lock. ETA. My brother took my parents and my sister out. I'm at home with Cal right now. He already installed the lock and we're looking to some safes. Not the asshole. If she cared about her sweet 16 so much, she wouldn't be stealing. Not the asshole. Your mum is enabling your sister's behavior. So long as there are no consequences then she will keep doing this. She lost something extremely important to you after stealing it. Your mum wasn't even going to replace it. Also, why are you funding the party? If she can't HVE a party because you pulled your money, well, that's not your problem. Keep the money. Get a new iPad. Change the code on the safe and don't tell anyone. I'm glad your dad supports you. Don't ever expect anything from your mum as she obviously favors your sister. Not the asshole. Taking away the money from your sister's birthday party to replace your iPad is entirely appropriate. And judging by your parents' behavior, your sister sorely needs these natural consequences or else she'll keep being enabled. Not the asshole. Time to get a lock on your bedroom you only have a key for. I'm more concerned your mom is okay with all this stealing. She is a major part of the problem. Not the asshole. Hopefully sister has learnt that actions have consequences. Your sister didn't value her party enough to stay away from your things. Your parents should have punished her a long time before this. Not the asshole. Why is your mother being unreasonable and kept siding with your sister? This thieving behavior has to be corrected. Not the asshole. Your sister is a bit of a brat with no boundaries and kinda selfish, but boy, your mother is a piece of work. She created this situation by spoiling your sister. If she doesn't like the consequences, she can pay for the party from her own money. Am I the asshole for telling my mom, my child isn't your do-over baby? I, 26 female, and my mom, 50 female, have been fighting over whose role is what when it comes to raising my son. A little context: when I was 3, DHS came and took me and my older brother away from her, and she didn't get custody back till I was 15. She also had a third child that she gave up for adoption before the child was even born. Fast forward to now, my son, 5, is in the middle of a tug-of-war between me and my mom. She buys ticket for concerts and events to go to with my son and never tells me till day of. I'm never invited to go either. She will override everything I say and doesn't care about my parenting choices. She insists he's only allowed to watch 90s cartoons and movies. The nowadays movies suck. I snapped one day when she tried to take his Minecraft hoodie and throw it away, saying, "It's trash and my child wouldn't be caught dead wearing it." I shouted, "My child is not your do-over baby. He's allowed to like whatever he wants from his own decade. Stop trying to relive your parenting time with your grandson. You had 3 chances to raise a child but never stepped up to the plate. Now start acting like a grandmother and not a mother before I move across the country and treat you like a holiday relative." My aunt insisted I went too far by digging up my mother's past. But my brother agrees with me, saying I'm the only one putting the hard work, i.e. paying the bills, cooking, cleaning, discipline, homework, etc. as a parent, but she takes all of my son's free time to do things without my consent and ignores my wishes as the true parent. So am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Time to distance yourself from this woman. Yesterday. If you have to move across the country and treat you like a holiday relative, do so. Your son is 5 now. If you don't get his situation under control soon, you're going to lose control of his behavior and all the fun stuff that entails. Good luck. Not the asshole. The "my child" comment did it for me. She had her chance and now it's your turn. You should be raising this child, not her. It's beyond time to set boundaries and maybe put her in a time-out until she learns to stay in her lane. Why are you letting her control your son's schedule and what he watches on TV? If you don't want him going with her, just say no. You're the parent. Not the asshole. She buys ticket for concerts and events to go to with my son and never tells me till day of. I'm never invited to go either. And after the first time this happened, you still let your son go? I mean, fool me once. But for real, why is she even in your son's life to this extent? Does she live with you or something? Not the asshole, but why in the hell are still letting her go around your son? Just tell her she doesn't get to have a relationship with him until she can respect your rules and boundaries. The DHS ruins everything for everyone. Not the asshole, but so what if your 5-year-old son is a Suki lamb for a night over a concert? Your own mother is alienating you as a parent. Are you perhaps confusing what you wanted from your mother as a child, and what she's giving your son? Personally, her taking my child to hang out with strange men I've never met would put her in an email once a year territory. In like August. 'Cause nothing ever happens in August and you can gloss over holidays past. Get her off your son's approved people list at school. Your psycho mom will kidnap him one day. Not the asshole, but why do you let your mom take over? You're the mom. It's your job to protect your child. Info. How does she have access to your son? Do you live with her? Am I the asshole for having my stepdad walk me down the aisle? My 27F bio dad, 62M, left my mom, 60F, when I was 10 months old. It was a whole convoluted ordeal, but things boil down to 1. My mom has postpartum depression after having my brother, 31M. 2. She recovers but gets worried when pregnant with my sister, 29F. 3. My dad cheats on my mom a few times with a coworker while she's pregnant with my sister. 4. After my sister's born they separate for a few months but come back together, though they continue to have troubles. 5. I am conceived to save their marriage. Spoiler. I do not. 6. Mom begins an emotional affair with my stepfather, 58M. 7. I'm born. 8. Bio dad leaves for good and files for divorce. 9. Mom moves me and my siblings in with my stepdad. 10. Divorce is finalized. My bio dad was not a big part of my childhood. He was always cold with me compared to my siblings and kept trying to prove that I wasn't his kid. We've had DNA tests done. I am. My brother and sister have always had a good relationship with him. On the flip side, I have a great relationship with my stepdad. He's been more of a father to me than my bio dad my entire life. My siblings are much colder to my stepdad because they think of him as being the person who split my parents up. Which he's not. The dissolution of the marriage is on my mom and my bio dad, and they're much better off apart. In the past few years I reconciled with my bio dad and we do have a relationship. I am currently planning my wedding with my fiancé, 33M. My sister is going to be my mo and my brother is one of the groomsmen. I was going over plans with my sister and mentioned that my stepdad would be walking me down the aisle. She was pissed. Started ranting about how I'm ungrateful and a bad daughter to my bio dad. She left in a huff. A few hours I got a call from my bio dad saying he won't be going to the wedding if he's not walking me down the aisle, how having my stepdad walk down the aisle would humiliate him, and how if I care about him I will let him walk down the aisle. I told him that I'd rather not have him be there than not have my stepdad walk me. He hung up on me and has been cold. This has split my family. My sister's on my dad's side, my brother says he won't get involved. My mom and stepdad have told me that they think that I should let my dad walk me to keep the peace, but my fiancé and I agree that we'd rather have me walk down the aisle alone than have him do it. I'm getting a lot of messages from my bio dad's side of my family calling me out and telling me that I'm an asshole for depriving my bio dad of this. So Reddit. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. It is your wedding. Not bio dads. Not stepdads. Not your mother's or your sister's. Period. Your wedding should be a joyous affair and it sucks that your family is flipping out rather than being supportive of you. Not the asshole. So your dad cheated, didn't believe you were his, treats you worse, and now wants to walk you down thr aisle? Ha 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 ha, the audacity. Have your stepdad walk you. Ignore your dad and possibly your sister. Also congrats. Not the asshole. From the information you provided it's pretty clear your bio father deprived himself of this moment. Any man who would choose to not attend his daughter's wedding because he's not the one walking her down the aisle has proven that he is unworthy to walk her down the aisle. Not the asshole. You made the right decision. Anyone who chooses not to attend your wedding over this is someone you don't need at your wedding. Your bio dad is the one who won't go to the wedding if he doesn't get what he wants, and your stepdad is the one offering to step aside to try and fix things so you can be happy. Seems like the one who's your real dad is pretty obvious, and I can see why you wanted him to be the one walking you down the aisle. Not the asshole, and I hope you have a fantastic wedding. Not the asshole. If walking you down the aisle was so important to him, then he should have been a better father to you up to this point. Not the asshole. You are a grown-ass adult who gets to choose who you have standing beside you on one of the most important days of your life. Anyone who takes issue with that is free to go fuck themselves. Not the asshole. You want the man who was always there for you to walk you down the aisle, and there's nothing wrong with that. Your bio father can either whine about it at home or accept that the gap in your relationship is his fault and work on repairing it with you. Now, you could offer a father-daughter dance as a compromise, but, given your situation, I wouldn't recommend going any further than that. Congratulations on your upcoming wedding.